I'm going to show you a single most useful defensive move and how that move may still be countered by an attacker. Might not sound like much, but what I'm going to demonstrate is the basic foundation of almost all Racecraft. Understanding the interactions in this video is like being handed a master key to becoming a feistier, smarter opponent to everyone else around you. Learn it and you will use it forevermore to consistently gain and keep position. Although this video is aimed at beginners to intermediates, starting to get to grips with actively racing other people and standing their ground, everyone may have something useful to chip in. See what you think. Let's get to it and learn the most important move in Racecraft. The next 10 minutes may give you more than you realise. This video is supported by GT Omega. Thanks to them for their consistent and friendly channel support. Their prices are very keen, their products are straight to the point, and their accents are Scottish. The GT Omega Prime rig has served me wonderfully for the past 4 years. Get 5% off GT Omega using code DannyLee or via the link in the description. So here it is, you have a car hunting you down, gaining and gaining on you. There's a corner coming up and you sense that the car behind may choose this moment to attack. What can you easily do to make it harder for the following car to overtake you? You defend the middle. Defending middle is when you position your car in the centre of the track before the braking zone, instead of just following the normal racing line, which would usually be on the far side of a track, one side or the other. Why? Well, let's see it from the following car's perspective, the attacker, and it'll be obvious. When I follow the normal racing line and my car is positioned over to the side, there's a lot of empty space on the inside and middle of the track. If my attacker was to decide that now is the time to make a daring dive under braking, they would have a lot of space in which to pull it off and claim the corner apex before me. Their line through the corner would be slower, but still absolutely good enough to keep momentum and go door to door with me. By just sitting on the line and leaving all that space for an attacker to try and use, I'm leaving the invitation fully open, and such passive body language almost encourages people to try and overtake me. Whereas if I defend the middle, you can now see that the empty space on the inside of the corner is much smaller, much narrower, and they'd have to make a distinct manoeuvre around me to even get to it. It's much harder to successfully judge and execute a clean overtake when your path to doing it looks like this instead of this. Not only that, but even if they were to get in position, judge their braking perfectly, and stick to the apex, their line through the corner would be potentially so tight that they'd have no momentum coming out of the corner anyway. Because I'm in the middle of a track, I would have the ability to use the room on the outside of the corner to relax my own line and maintain more speed. Defending the middle works so well because a large portion of attackers will see your defensive move and be discouraged from trying to overtake you in the first place because you've made it riskier to even consider it. It's a deterrent, and a large portion of those that do try will so badly miss their mark that their attack will fail to stick due to the lack of momentum or going off track. Those that remain that do actually manage to overtake you, well, they're the lucky few. Here are a few examples of drivers attempting to overtake me and failing, and my decision to defend the middle is what's to thank for it. So first up, we have this Lamborghini that's tucked right up to my rear wing at Portimao, a very wide track with a long start-finish straight that terminates in a fast corner. I, in the Ferrari, decide to defend middle. The Lamborghini decides that they still like the look of this move and they go for it. They draw alongside on the inside for the upcoming corner. However, when it comes to braking, they miss their mark and brake far too late, sailing wide off track as a result. My defense succeeds because their attack fails, and that is what defending is really all about. It's about making the attacker's target smaller and harder to hit, just as footballers will try to block part of a goal before a free kick, just as chess players will maneuver their pieces in a certain way to prevent a touchdown. I don't know, I don't play chess. Remember, once your attacker is alongside you, you are allowed to reclaim and use all that track on your side of the fence, so to speak. It works best if you hold your line and keep the attacker where they are, and then wait until the last second to move back over. If you move over too soon, the overtaker may notice this and move over with you, opening their line back up and tilting the odds back in their favour. So don't move back over too early. Leave it till the last possible moment to leave your attackers stuck where they are with no chance to move back before it's time to break. Here's another example which highlights so clearly why defending the middle makes the attacker's job so much harder and yet makes your job only mildly more technical. The BMW behind has a great slipstream and is definitely going to draw alongside. So I defend middle, leaving only a car's width on the inside, and I force them to make a choice. The red BMW takes their chance on an extremely acute inside line and simply misses their braking point completely, soaring past comically. I enjoyed it anyway.
Yeah, I shouldn't laugh.
Defending the middle forces the overtaking car to make a choice. Either you stay here and forget trying to actively overtake, or you throw yourself into a small strip of track and take a big risk. Only a portion of racers will be able to defeat this challenge. So, if it's so versatile and effective, why doesn't everyone just do it all the time, every corner, every time they have to defend? Well, it's simple. It's slower than the normal line. It costs time. Defending the middle will cost you a couple of attempts at least every time you do it, but if you want to keep your position when it is genuinely under threat, that is the price you will have to pay, and it's not without its own risks. With that, let's consider how this move can sometimes fail and be overcome by the overtaker. Now, as I say, defending middle is effective and low risk. It ain't no risk. You will be travelling slower through the corner than you normally might, and if your attacker is experienced and observant, they will line themselves up to take advantage of your lower momentum on corner exit. But you can learn from this as well. You may be able to use this defending middle move, but if someone does it on you, you can use these lessons. In this clip, I enter the corner in the middle of a track and my opponent on the outside. I claim the corner due to having the inside line by lunging in quite keenly, but the other guy slows earlier and more carefully into the corner and delays their turn in, all in order to nail their exit and prioritise momentum coming out of the corner. This was a very well done counter and is a great example of how this defense can be dismantled at times, even though it's not easy to do. To flip the perspective and make it easier to understand, let's pretend we're attacking and the guy whose position we're after moves to the middle. We have options. So, if the defending car keenly launches into the corner quite aggressively in the first half, that's an indicator that they may be forced into slowing down in the second half just to stay on track, which will cut their momentum. They took too much of a big bite in the first half of the corner and they're going to pay for it on exit. Just like in this Mustang example, you should react to the defending car's over-eager corner claim by calmly delaying your own turn in to turn it into a cutback move where you cut underneath them through and out of the corner. You could also just take the inside line anyway and spook them into conceding, and this works more than you think. Quite a few people have simply seen this behaviour and decided they don't want any of it, leaving the door open to claim the inside without being squeezed up against a corner. It's almost as if a defending car says, "Do you want some?" And you go, "Yeah." And they go, wait, yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it, honestly. Finally, if a defending car brakes a bit early because they're in the middle of a track and they're not used to gauging their braking point on that line, you could try going around the outside of them by braking later and trying to hang onto that outside edge. This is especially effective if the corner that follows goes the opposite way and comes quite soon after, i.e. the outside for part 1 becomes the inside for part 2. This is what I did here when this Aston defended the middle at Interlagos. Launching the car around the outside gave me the inside line for the corner following it. This is pretty tricky to do though, and highly dependent on the corner. The bus stop chicane at Spa, for example, would be another good spot where this tactic does work to defeat defenders. So, let me take a minute to focus on the philosophy of defending the middle. Why did I call learning this strategy the foundation of basically all racecraft? in the intro? Well, it's because by learning this strategy, you're forced to recognise that the further away from the normal racing line you force an attacker to go, the trickier that overtake will become, and the more likely your defense is to succeed because they fail. And it's all because of where you've placed your car. Racing others is a totally different skill set to setting fast lap times, and it revolves around using your car's physical presence to affect others. They cannot drive through you, they have to drive around you, and that forms the basis of pretty much all attacking and defending moves. You will have to stand your ground if you want to finish higher up in the grid and not lose places, and defending the middle is the best overall defensive move for doing just that. Easy for beginners and intermediates to use. You will lose time defending, but in races, only position matters, not lap times. And that's it for now. I hope this was inspiring, entertaining, informative, and I welcome any comments or input. There's so much beneath the surface that I can't even begin to cover, and I always want to hear your perspectives. Don't forget also to check out channel supporters GT Omega and use code DannyLee for 5% off your next rig. Cheers again.